Hey guys, it's Emma Vigling with TYT Politics reporting to you live from the blizzard of 2017! I still got power and I still got energy, so don't worry about me, I'm gonna be okay. We have a cat fight on our hands here, and I don't like to use that term, but it kinda is one. John McCain and Donald Trump are not friends. If you recall, Donald Trump said to McCain, "Oh, I like my prisoners of war, or I like my soldiers not captured," which is outrageous. The idea that this guy is still elected is unbelievable. So, yeah, John McCain and Donald Trump, they are not friends, but John McCain has bowed his head and has gone along with the new Republican president of the USA because they can milk him for all his tax cuts and all of his corporate welfare and then cast him aside once they're done with him and disagree with him ideologically. That's how I think the impeachment process is going to go down. So obviously let's start this off a little bit on a somber note because the subject of this cat fight is something that's actually devastating. So 5 days after taking office, Donald Trump authorized a Navy SEAL raid of Yemen. They were searching for cell phones and laptops related to terrorism. The raid, by all accounts, was a failure. It was botched. An American officer named William Owens was slain, as well as an 8-year-old daughter of Anwar al-Awlaki, the American-born al-Qaeda leader. That was killed in a drone strike in 2011. So an 8-year-old girl was killed. So I look her up, look up her face, remember her. And also, of course, the American officer William Owens. So rest in peace. It's devastating. So any normal person would feel sympathy and say, "Oh, how could I have authorized this raid? It just murdered a child and an American officer." Also, according to NBC, 14 al-Qaeda members and an unconfirmed number of civilians died. So it's probably not just this little girl that was killed. In fact, the raid was so botched that tensions with Yemen have increased, and this is from the New York Times. Angry at the civilian casualties incurred last month in the first commando raid authorized by President Trump, Yemen has withdrawn permission for the United States to run special operation grounds missions against suspected terrorist groups in the country, according to American officials. Grisly photographs of children apparently killed in the crossfire of a 50-minute firefight during the raid caused outrage in Yemen. A member of the Navy's SEAL Team 6, Chief Petty Officer William Owens, was also killed in the operation. The New York Times does not mention in the first two paragraphs about the daughter that was killed, the 8-year-old, but that seems important to me, but whatever. So this raid, by all accounts, was a tragedy and a disaster, but not for the Trump administration. All in day's work for them. They don't really care if anyone dies. They just want to continue to demonize Muslims throughout the country, and then also kill a little Muslim girl who was 8 years old. Apparently, though, it wasn't just a tragedy in terms of lives lost. There was no intelligence gathered either by John McCain's account. I will read what John McCain said after he was briefed about this raid. Senator John McCain, chair of the Armed Services Committee, called the recent U.S. raid in Yemen a failure following a classified briefing Tuesday morning on the operation. McCain told reporters on Capitol Hill that the military's decision, as has been publicly reported, to continue the mission despite significant opposition and the enemy being tipped off was one of the aspects that turned it into a failure. So John McCain was briefed on the details of this raid and said it was a failure. Sean Spicer disagrees. The raid that was conducted in Yemen was an intelligence gathering raid, White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer said Tuesday. It was highly successful. It achieved the purpose it was going to get, saved the loss of life that we suffered, and the injuries that occurred, that we suffered. They don't care about the 8-year-old girl that died, but the American that died, they care about that. And the unaccounted for civilians that died in this. They're brown, and their religion is different than us, so I don't really care about that. So I'll just mention the American officer that died. And right, because the loss of life was so insignificant that it's a footnote at the end of the failed operation. Don't worry, John McCain told us the reality of what happened in there. And why would McCain, a Republican war hawk, who I thank him for his service and he was tortured for years in the war. I mean, I respect that immensely. But the guy loves beating the war drum. He is the chair of the Armed Services Committee. Why would he be incentivized to lie about this being a failure? In fact, he would be incentivized in the opposite direction. McCain likes kind of playing up how often we have to use military intervention. No one would ever accuse McCain of being a non-interventionist. He loves war. I gotta be honest with you. And I'm sure he doesn't love participating in war, but he loves putting forth policy that encourages war. So he's the exact kind of guy who would say it was a success. But Trump responded to John McCain's criticism in a predictably childish way. He tweeted, "Senator McCain should not be talking about the success or failure of a mission to the media. Only emboldens the enemy. He's been losing so long, he doesn't know how to win anymore. Just look at the mess our country is in, bogged down in conflict all over the place." God, he's an idiot. "Our hero Ryan died on a winning mission, according to General Mattis, not a failure. Time for the U.S. to get smart and start winning again." So, this is a typical Bush administration topic. It's a talking point, excuse me. When you basically say, we can't talk about it being a failure because someone died. An American died, and you're dishonoring his legacy by saying that it was a failure. No. You're dishonoring his legacy by saying it was a success. You're not taking ownership and responsibility for your hand and your direct role in killing this American officer, let alone the civilians in Yemen. So it's just unconscionable. It is lacking morality, and it is so disingenuous. This is the kind of talking point in the Bush administration that would send me through the roof. You're lying. What this signals to me is that the Republican Party, there's going to be a rift, if there's going to be a rift, and an impeachment process that could start today with the amount of times that he's violated the Constitution. It could begin today. But if it's going to be built up to that, which they're going to use him for the tax breaks, and then I believe if this process actually goes forward, then they're going to begin impeaching him. I believe it'll be led by McCain. But it will only be in the sphere of military intervention and foreign policy, because that's the only time McCain is a maverick. That's the only time he diverges from other people, and oftentimes it's to beat the war drum more. And I commend him for his belief on torture and how he stood up to Donald Trump on torture, but how would you try standing up for things that didn't personally affect you? That would be pretty nice, John McCain. For example, you could have broke the vote for Betsy DeVos, but you didn't you? Because that's when you bow down to Trump. Yes, the Republican donor. Yes, she gave $200 million to the Republican Party. I bow down to you. Yes, I submit. Come. I will kiss your feet. Mwah. Betsy DeVos, thank you for those millions and millions of dollars. I will confirm you. The maverick John McCain. Love it. But he will and may stand up to Donald Trump here. And that could break him. We shall see. If Trump continues to do these botched raids, perhaps we see people going on board with John McCain. McCain only stands up when it has to do with war, but I'm taking it in this situation. As you can see, I have no love for McCain. But this is going to be a Republican rift. And let's not forget, McCain is extremely respected in the Senate and in Washington. He could bring Republicans with him. He is seen as a leader in that town for Republicans and has friends across the aisle, which is how things work. So, we shall see. But this catfight is over something extremely serious, and the Trump administration should be ashamed of themselves, but unfortunately they are incapable of shame. Have a great day.